The Yakuza are Japan's most famous organized crime syndicate. They're kind of a world unto themselves, hidden in plain sight within Japanese society. When people think of the Yakuza, they often picture men in sharp suits. They imagine intricate, full-body tattoos hidden beneath expensive fabric. These images aren't entirely wrong. The Yakuza represent a complex blend of criminal enterprise and strict, almost feudal tradition. They operate in the shadows of Japan's squeaky clean image, involved in everything from street-level crime to high-level corporate blackmail. They're a paradox brutal criminals who follow an ancient code of honor, a concept that fascinates and terrifies people in equal measure. Their infamy is not just a local phenomenon, it's spread worldwide. Movies, video games, and books have painted a romanticized picture of their world. This picture often focuses on their unwavering loyalty and their unique aesthetic, but, the reality is far more brutal and a lot less glamorous. These are not noble samurai. They're hardened criminals engaged in illegal activities that cause real harm to society. Yet, their deep roots in Japanese history and their almost philosophical approach to the criminal life make them a subject of endless curiosity. Understanding the Yakuza means looking beyond the stereotypes and into the heart of a secretive and dangerous underworld. It requires seeing them for what they are, a powerful force of organized crime. The name Yakuza itself offers a glimpse into their identity as outcasts. It comes from an old card game, Oichokabu, which is kind of similar to Baccarat. The name is derived from the numbers Ya, which means 8, Q for 9, and Za for 3. These numbers add up to 20, which is a losing hand. The name essentially means good for nothing or born to lose. This reflects the origins of the first Yakuza members. They were wanderers, gamblers, and peddlers living on the fringes of society. They embraced this label, turning a mark of shame into a badge of honor, a symbol of their separation from the mainstream world they both preyed upon and, at times, strangely protected. What truly sets the Yakuza apart is their strict and well-defined cultural code. This code is often referred to as Ninkyo-do, or the chivalrous way. It emphasizes justice for the weak and helping the common people. Of course, this is often just a justification for their criminal behavior. They portray themselves as honorable outlaws, a necessary evil in an imperfect world. This self-image allows them to operate with a strange sense of legitimacy. They run offices with corporate nameplates and even have fan magazines. This dual identity, as both a fiat criminal organization and a quasi-legitimate social group, is central to understanding their long and complicated history in Japan. The history of the Yakuza is long and complex, stretching back centuries. Their origins can be traced to the Edo-period, which lasted from 1603 to 1868. During this time, Japan was under the strict rule of the Tokugawa shogunate. Society was rigid, and there was little room for social mobility. Two main groups of outcasts from this era are considered the ancestors of the modern Yakuza. The first were the Tekiya, who were peddlers of stolen or fraudulent goods. They set up stalls at markets and festivals, and over time, they organized into groups to protect their territories and business interests. They developed a strong sense of hierarchy and rules. The second group were the Bakuto, or gamblers. They made their living through illegal gambling operations, loan sharking, and other shady activities. The Bakuto were known for their ruthlessness and their distinctive tattoos. It's from this group that many of the Yakuza's most famous rituals, including Yobitsumi or finger-cutting, originated. Like the Tekiya, the Bakuto formed tight-knit groups with a clear leader-follower structure. These early organizations provided a sense of belonging and order for men who were rejected by mainstream society. They were the forgotten sons of a rigid social system, and they created their own world with its own set of laws. As Japan modernized after the Meiji Restoration in 1868, these groups evolved. The country underwent rapid industrialization and political change. The old outcast groups adapted to the new environment. They moved into cities and became involved in new forms of crime. They took control of labor markets, construction sites, and port facilities. During the turbulent years after World War II, the Yakuza grew immensely powerful. The country was in chaos, and the official police forces were weak. The Yakuza stepped into this power vacuum, controlling black markets and providing a rough form of street justice, often with the tacit approval of overwhelmed authorities. In the post-war economic boom, the Yakuza transformed into sophisticated criminal enterprises. They moved beyond simple street crime and into more lucrative ventures. They infiltrated the construction industry, real estate, and corporate finance. This was the era of the Sokaya, specialists in corporate blackmail who would buy a few shares in a company to gain access to shareholder meetings. There, they would threaten to reveal embarrassing secrets unless they were paid off. The Yakuza became deeply embedded in the Japanese economy. They were no longer just street thugs. They were a formidable economic and political force, a shadow power operating behind the scenes. The organization of the Yakuza is built on a strict and sacred hierarchy. This structure is known as the Oyabun-Kobun relationship. The Oyabun is the father figure, the boss of the family. The Kobun are the child figures, or his loyal followers. This bond isn't based on blood, but on a deeply personal pledge of allegiance. A new recruit becomes a Kobun through an initiation ceremony. In this ceremony, the Oyabun and the new member share sak from the same cup. This act symbolizes the creation of a new family tie, a bond that is considered more important than any other relationship in the Kobun's life. His loyalty to the Oyabun must be absolute. This Oyabun-Kobun system creates a pyramid-like structure. At the very top is the Kumicho, the supreme boss of the entire syndicate, like the Yamaguchi Gumi. Below him are various advisors and regional bosses, who are themselves Oyabun to their own followers. Each level of the hierarchy demands total obedience to the one above it. Orders are followed without question. Discipline is harsh, and any sign of disrespect or disobedience is severely punished. This rigid system ensures that the organization can operate efficiently and secretly. It's a structure designed for control, ensuring that the will of the boss is carried out through the entire chain of command. Rituals play a crucial role in reinforcing the Yakuza's values and identity. The most iconic of these is the use of elaborate, full-body tattoos known as Irezumi. These tattoos aren't just for decoration, they're a mark of commitment and endurance. The traditional method of tattooing, using hand-poked needles, is incredibly painful and can take hundreds of hours to complete. By enduring this pain, a member proves his courage and his permanent dedication to the Yakuza life. The tattoos often depict mythical creatures like dragons and koi fish, or scenes from Japanese folklore. They tell a story about the wearer's identity and his place within the organization. Another famous ritual is yubitsumi, the act of cutting off one's own finger. This is a form of penance or apology. When a Yakuza member makes a serious mistake or disobeys an order, he may be required to cut off the tip of his little finger. He then presents the severed digit to his Oyabun as a sign of his remorse. If he makes another mistake, he may have to cut off another part of a finger. This brutal practice is a stark reminder of the high price of failure in the Yakuza world. It demonstrates the absolute seriousness of their code and the severe consequences of breaking it. It's a physical symbol of a broken promise. For decades, the Yakuza operated in a gray area of Japanese society. Their criminal activities were extensive and varied. They were involved in everything from illegal gambling, drug trafficking, and prostitution to sophisticated white-collar crimes like loan sharking and extortion. Yet, they also maintained a strange, almost symbiotic relationship with the community. In some neighborhoods, they were seen as a source of order, keeping petty crime in check. After the 1995 Kobe earthquake, Yakuza groups were among the first to provide disaster relief, distributing food and supplies faster than the government. This complex role made them both feared criminals and, at times, unlikely public servants. However, the tide began to turn against them in the 1990s. The Japanese government, facing international pressure and growing public concern, decided to crack down hard. In 1992, they passed the Anti-Boryokudan Act. Boryokudan, meaning violence group, is the legal term for the Yakuza. This law did not make being a Yakuza member illegal, but it made it very difficult for them to do business. It restricted activities like demanding protection money and enabled police to designate certain groups as official syndicates, placing them under heavy surveillance. Subsequent laws made it illegal for ordinary citizens and companies to knowingly do business with the Yakuza, cutting off their legitimate sources of income. These legal pressures have had a devastating effect on the Yakuza. Their membership has plummeted. In the mid-20th century, there were over 180,000 members. Today, that number has fallen to less than 25,000, and it continues to shrink. The old guard is aging, and new recruits are hard to find. Young people are no longer attracted to the harsh, disciplined life of a Yakuza. The promise of wealth and power is fading as police scrutiny intensifies. The syndicates are also fracturing, with internal conflicts and splits becoming more common as they fight over a shrinking criminal pie. The once mighty Yakuza are now a shadow of their former selves. Despite their decline, the legend of the Yakuza remains a powerful force in Japanese culture. They continue to be romanticized in films, manga, and television dramas. These stories often focus on the themes of honor, loyalty, and the struggle of the outcast against a rigid society. The Yakuza represent a dark but compelling part of Japan's national identity. They are a symbol of a rebellious spirit that exists beneath the surface of a famously orderly country. While their real-world power may be waning, Their mythic status ensures they will not be forgotten. They are a fading but indelible chapter in the story of modern Japan.